Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, just imagine that voice for a second. You know, that unmistakable rasp, full of soul, bit of grit, that playful swagger.
Yeah, totally distinctive.
It's the voice that sold, what, over 120 million records? Dominated stages for decades, belongs to a proper legend, Sir Rod Stewart.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into his incredible journey.
And we've got this stack of your sources here to guide us. Articles, research notes. It covers pretty much everything, from his London childhood, that unlikely path into music,
Right.
through the huge fame, the controversies, the shifts in sound, the knighthood, even his really unique passions outside music.
Okay, so our mission then is to sort of sift through all this, pull out the key bits, the surprising details maybe, and help you understand what makes Rod Stewart such an enduring figure. I mean, where do you even start with a life like that?
Well, the sources take us right back. Roderick David Stewart, born Highgate, London, 1945. Yeah.
Youngest of 5 kids. Sounds like a pretty happy home, actually. His dad was Scottish, a master builder who later bought a newsagent shop. His mom was English. This seems like a solid start.
And family life, it sounds like it revolved around two big things: football
Definitely football.
and music.
Yeah.
His dad was really into football, played, managed a bit, and apparently young Rod was, well, pretty good.
Yeah, really talented. Captained the school team, played for Middlesex schoolboys.
Wow. But the family also loved Al Jolson, which, the sources suggest, kind of subtly influenced his later stage presence.
You can sort of see that showman emerging later, can't you?
Yeah.
Musically, though, the early stuff was pure rock and roll. Hearing Little Richard, seeing Bill Haley live.
Right, the classics.
Gets his first guitar in '59. Learns, takes a worried man to sing a worried song. And the first record he actually bought.
Go on.
Eddie Cochran. Come on, everybody. Even had a brief stint in a skiffle group, the Cool Cats.
Okay, so you've got the football talent, this musical spark starting, and he leaves school at 15. This seems to be where things get a bit varied. The sources paint a picture of him trying to find his way, loads of different odd jobs.
Oh, yeah, a real mix. Silkscreen printer, helping in the family shop.
Yeah.
Some pretty tough ones, too, like labor at Highgate Cemetery, funeral parlor worker.
Fence erector, sign writer, quite the CV.
Absolutely. And the big question mark, really, is the football. He had trials for Brentford, the 3rd Division club, in 1960.
Right.
But the sources, including his own autobiography, are very clear. He was never signed. That seems to be the moment the path really shifted towards music.
Yeah, and that quote from him about choosing music, it's fantastic. He says, well, a musician's life is a lot easier, and I can also get drunk and make music, and I can't do that and play football. I plumped for music. What does that tell you about him then?
It's wonderfully blunt, isn't it?
Yeah.
Captures that sort of, pragmatic, maybe slightly rebellious, working class vibe.
Yeah.
It wasn't just pure artistic calling at first. It was a lifestyle choice. Seemed more appealing, maybe easier than pro football.
And around then, he gets drawn into the counterculture, beatnik scene, lived on a houseboat for a while.
Yeah. Supported C&D campaign for nuclear disarmament, got arrested 3 times for sit-ins.
Though, characteristically, he admits he also went to the marches to meet girls.
Huh. Yeah, that kind of sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The idealism mixed with his emerging personality. It's also when the mod thing starts happening. That spiky hair.
Right. Famously styled with sugar water or hairspray.
The sources also mention a pretty significant personal thing early on. For a serious relationship, unplanned pregnancy, the baby girl was given up for adoption.
Yeah, tough situation for someone so young.
Mm-hmm. And musically, despite the rock start, he gets a bit disillusioned with that sound, gets pulled towards American R&B, soul music. Seeing Otis Redding live was apparently huge for him.
It's transformative.
Seems like it. And Sam Cooke becomes his absolute idol. He talks about listening to Cooke as a crossing of the water, like a really profound moment.
So he's soaking up soul, that voice is starting to develop, he's got the mod look. How does he actually start building a music career out of all this?
It starts small. Busking. By '62, he's out there playing harmonica.
Just on the street.
Yeah. First proper pro gig is with the Dimensions in '63, harmonica, some vocals. Then he moves to Jimmy Powell and the 5 Dimensions, playing clubs like Studio 51. Just soaking it all in. Apparently learned a lot watching Mick Jagger on stage.
Ah, interesting. And the sources clarify that Millie Small rumor.
Ah, yes, the My Boy Lollipop harmonica thing. Despite the stories, the sources say it's pretty unlikely he actually played on that record. One of those myths that just sticks around.
Good to clear that up. So next he joins Long John Baldry's band, 1964. And Baldry really pushes that Rod the Mod image.
Yeah, he'll cement it. It's with Baldry he makes his actual recording debut. just on a B-side.
He gets a solo deal with Decca around then too, right? 64.
That's right. First single's a cover. Sonny Boy Williamson's Good Morning Little Schoolgirl doesn't chart. Apparently, he clashed with Decca, didn't want to make it too commercial, stuck to the R&B sound he likes.
Stubborn even then. Then Steam Packet in 65. That sounds like a sort of supergroup.
Kind of a white soul review, yeah.
Yeah.
With Baldry, Brian Auger, Julie Driscoll. They toured with the Rolling Stones, which must have been a massive experience. Seeing that level of touring, the crowd hysteria.
But frustrating, apparently. They couldn't record.
Yeah, label conflicts. Everyone was signed somewhere different. There was also that TV documentary, An Easter with Rod, in 65. Really boosted his mod profile. But solo-wise, still nothing really happening. Failed attempts.
He does that brief stint with Shotgun Express in 66 that had Mick Fleetwood and Peter Green in it, future Fleetwood Mac founders.
Amazing lineup, but again, short-lived, unsuccessful single. Stewart apparently wasn't happy, felt he needed his own material, the rasp was developing, but still no big break.
Until Jeff Beck, 1967.
Exactly. This is the game changer.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. The Jeff Beck group. The big break.
Absolutely. Beck recruits him as vocalist, sometimes songwriter. And crucially, this is where he meets Ronnie Wood. That friendship starts here.
And it's a lifelong thing.
The band itself, though, notoriously volatile, lots of changes, tension, but they hit the U.S. hard. That first U.S. tour in 68 was a huge success.
Even though Rod apparently had terrible stage fright opening night, needed Brandy to go on.
Yeah, great story. Humanizes him a bit, doesn't it? And the critics definitely noticed them. That New York Times review, something like, Beck's wild, visionary guitar against the hoarse, insistent shouting of Rod Stewart captures that dynamic perfectly.
Their first album, Truth, does well in the States, fuses styles, helps push his vocals, that rasp gets more prominent than Beck-ola. But the sources say the personal vibe with Beck wasn't great.
Yeah, kind of distant. He famously said he never once looked him in the eye in 2.5 years. There was aggravation. When Wood left in 69, Rod went too.
But musically, it worked.
He felt they had a strong musical connection, despite the personal stuff. And he credits that period massively for developing his vocal phrasing, really learning how to sing.
So he leaves Beck, he's got the voice, more honed U.S. tour experience, and Ronnie Wood alongside him. What's next?
Well, he'd actually signed a solo deal back in 68 with Mercury. It was just on hold. Then, October 69, he officially joins up with Ronnie Wood. And the guys left from the Small Faces, Ronnie Lane, Ian McLagan, Kenny Jones, they formed Faces.
Wow, so he's juggling 2 careers right from the start. Solo deal and fronting Faces. That sounds demanding.
Yeah, pretty unusual. And probably, sowed the seeds for later tension. But at first, it let him explore different sounds. His first solo album, An Old Raincoat Won't Ever Let You Down.
Right.
Or the Rod Stewart album in the U.S. comes out late 69.
And this is key, right? Establishes his solo sound.
Totally. That blend of folk, rock, country blues, real working class feel. Mix of originals and really well-chosen covers, like Ewan McCall's Dirty Old Town, Mike Dabo's Handbags and Glad Drags.
Great songs. And Faces' debut, First Step, in 1970. More rock, Stonesy vibe.
Yeah, and they quickly got known as a brilliant, if chaotic, live band. His second solo album, Gasoline Alley, follows later in 1970. Similar vibe, refines that folk rock thing, introduces the mandolin, which becomes such a signature sound for him.
He's touring with Faces, building momentum, and then there's that guest vocal thing, Python Lee Jackson.
In A Broken Dream.
Yeah,
recorded way back in 69, apparently a minor thing at the time.
And the sources say he got paid with car seat covers for his Ford Cortina.
Which is just brilliant, isn't it? Such a humble detail. And this all gets re-released in 72, and suddenly it's this massive international hit years later.
Crazy. But 1971, that's the year everything properly explodes, right?
Yeah, the sources pinpoint 71 as the breakthrough. His solo album, Every Picture Tells a Story, comes out, makes him a huge global star. And it's the B-side, Maggie May. That does it.
It was a B-side, To Reason to Believe.
Yeah, radio stations just flipped it over, started playing Maggie May, and it just blew up.
Wow. And the album and the single go to #1 simultaneously. UK, US, Canada, Australia.
Yeah, September 71.
Yeah.
Apparently a chart first at the time. Just massive. Maggie May is #1 for 5 weeks in the US and UK. The sources mention Ray Jackson from Lindisfarne played that amazing mandolin part.
Iconic sound. It's one of those defining rock songs now.
Absolutely. And the whole album was critically acclaimed. Tracks like Mandolin Wind, that killer cover of I Know I'm Losing You, the Dylan cover, Tomorrow's a Long Time, the title track.
Yeah.
Just brilliant.
Must have been a strange time for Faces, though. Rod goes supernova solo, but they're also having success. Long player, then a nod is as good as a wink.
Yeah, a nod. Hit the top 10 both sides of the Atlantic, gave them their only U.S. top 40 hit, Stay With Me.
Which is a classic Faces track.
Definitely. And they were influential too. Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols cited Faces as a key influence on punk, that raw energy.
Fascinating connection. So Rod's huge solo, Faces are doing well. How does that tension play out? You mentioned that Rolling Stone critique.
Yeah, it gets increasingly tricky to balance. Faces toured a lot in '72, and the sources say the tension over Rod's solo thing was definitely growing. His '72 solo album, Never a Dull Moment, just repeats the winning formula.
More folk rock, soul covers.
Right, like Sam Cooke's Twistin' the Night Away. UK #1, US #2, big hits like You Wear It Well.
And this early solo run gets incredible reviews. That Rolling Stone quote is famous, isn't it? Praising his voice, lyrics, humor, that warmth, redemptive, modesty, liberating. But then the sting in the tail about him later betraying his talent so completely. Ouch.
It's harsh. And it really frames the whole debate about his later career, doesn't it? That classic artist dilemma.
Yeah.
Stick with what the critics loved or follow trends, your own interests, even if it means, well, being accused of selling out.
How did that tension finally break Faces?
Their final album, Ooh La La, comes out in '73, UK #1 again. But the recording sounds like it was difficult. Sources mentioned Rod tuning up late, complaining about song keys, and then he publicly criticized the album afterwards. Which, didn't go down well with the others who wrote and played on it.
Understandably.
They toured till '75, but it was basically over. Ronnie Wood was off to the Rolling Stones. Rod's solo career was stratospheric. Faces split at the end of '75.
Okay, so just as Faces ends, Rod's solo career shifts again. His '74 album, Smiler, UK #1, less big in the US, last one for Mercury. Then he switches to Warner Bros.
Their Faces had been, yeah. And a big personal move, too. He moves to L.A. in '75.
Sunnier climes.
And maybe a sunnier sound. He works with producer Tom Dowd, the Muscle Shoals guys. Atlantic Crossing comes out, seen as a return to form in the U.S., top 10.
And this gives him that massive UK hit, Sailing, a cover.
Yeah, Sutherland Brothers song. #1 UK, huge in Europe, Australia. Became the theme for a BBC documentary series, Sailor. His biggest UK single up to that point.
Then A Night on the Town in '76, another huge one. UK #1, US #2, platinum, famous for having the fast side and the slow side.
Right. And it had Tonight's the Night, Gonna Be All Right. Absolutely massive. US #1 for 8 weeks. Australia #1. The video with Britt Ekland was everywhere.
He also had hits with covers like Tat Stevens, The First Cut is the Deepest, and that more serious song, The Killing of Georgie.
Yeah, about the murder of a gay friend. Quite a brave song for the time, actually. Hit the top 40 in the U.S.
Footloose and Fancy Free in '77 keeps the run going. US #2. Hits like You're in My Heart, Hot Legs. I was only joking.
He's really at the peak of his fame here.
And the image is changing too, isn't it? More glam, makeup.
Definitely embracing that side of things. Which leads into Blondes Have More Fun in '78.
Huh.
US #1 album. And the single. The one everyone knows and debated, Do You Think I'm Sexy?
Ah, yes. The disco track.
Huge. Worldwide #1. Massive crossover hit. Even charted high in the U.S. black charts. But yeah, the critics, many saw it as the ultimate betrayal. Total departure from the folk rock roots.
He defended it, though, didn't he? Said it wasn't about him. It was like a character piece.
Yeah, claimed it was third-person narrative, just observing the disco scene. There was also that lawsuit, though. Jorge Benjor pointed out the chorus was very similar to his song Taj Mahal.
Right. What happened there?
Stewart admitted unconscious plagiarism and ended up donating all his royalties from the single to UNICEF.
Okay, so entering the '80s, he keeps shifting gears. Foolish Behavior in 1980, bit of a new wave sound. Hit Passion.
Yeah, and then MTV launches in '81. Perfect timing for him. Very visual artist.
His videos were all over it. Tonight, I'm Yours that year adds more synth pop. Hits like Young Turks, the title track.
He's adapting to the times, though the sources do mention some controversy in the '80s.
The Sun City thing.
Yes. He got criticized by the anti-apartheid movement for playing Sun City in South Africa during tours in '83 and '84 when there was that big international cultural boycott.
Right, that was a major issue back then. Despite that, he keeps racking up hits through the '80s. Some guys have all the luck, infatuation, that reunited him with Jeff Beck on guitar.
Yeah, great track, Love Touch, Baby Jane. In '83, it was his last UK #1 single. Still massive.
That People Get Ready duet with Beck was good too. Shame the tour fell through. Still playing huge venues though, Rock and Rio '85.
Massive crowd for that. Then Out of Order in '88, produced by Andy Taylor from Duran Duran and Bernard Edwards from Chic. More hits. Lost in You, Forever Young.
Ah, Forever Young. That caused a bit of a stir with Bob Dylan.
Yeah, due to similarities with Dylan's song of the same name. They reached an amicable agreement about royalties. It got Rod a Grammy nomination. And that tour for Out of Order, especially in South America, the sources mention huge crowds, like over 90,000 in Buenos Aires.
Incredible reach. He also does that Tom Waits cover, Downtown Train, for his Storyteller box set in '90. Big U.S. hit.
Yeah, Vagabond Heart in '91 is seen as a bit of a creative comeback. Good collaborations like It Takes Two with Tina Turner, solo hits like Rhythm of My Heart.
The '90s seem to bring a lot of official recognition, too.
Definitely. Brit Award for Outstanding Contribution in '93, World Music Awards Legend Award. He even got Faces back on stage briefly at the Brits for an impromptu jam.
Fun moment. And then that massive movie song collaboration in '93.
All for Love with Bryan Adams and Sting for the Three Musketeers. Huge. Worldwide #1.
MTV Unplugged in '93 was another big moment, wasn't it? Reunited with Ronnie Wood, went back to the classics.
Yeah, really successful. Revisiting Handbags and Glad Rags. Stuff from Every Picture Tells a Story. His acoustic take on Van Morrison's Have I Told You Lately became a massive hit, especially on U.S. adult contemporary radio.
The album Unplugged and Seated did really well, too. And then 1994, he gets into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, solo induction. Presented by Jeff Beck, ironically enough, given their history.
Full circle. And that same New Year's Eve, that legendary concert at Copacabana Beach in Rio, playing to, 3.5 million people?
Guinness World Record for a free concert. Just unbelievable numbers.
Truly staggering. As we get into the later 90s, early 2000s, the sources suggest he consciously moved away from songwriting for a bit.
He's quoted saying he wasn't a natural songwriter, felt his originals got a tepid response. So albums like A Spanner in the Works, When We Were the New Boys, which had Britpop covers, rely more on interpretation.
Yeah, changing labels too. Lands eventually with Clive Davis at J Records. His 2001 album, Human, does okay. Gets the Diamond Award from World Music Awards for hitting 100 million record sales.
Which kind of sets the stage for something completely different but massively successful.
The Great American Songbook albums, starting in 2002. Just dives into interpreting those classic 30s and 40s standards. Critics were maybe a bit sniffy initially.
But the public loved them.
Hugely successful commercially.
Yeah.
Volume 1 hits U.S. Tag 4. Volume 2, U.S. Tag 2, duet with Cher on that one. And Volume 3, Stardust, in 2004, goes to U.S. #1. His first #1 album there in 25 years. And it wins him his first ever Grammy Award.
Wow. After all that time and all those hits, it must have felt pretty good.
You'd think so. Definitely proved he could connect with a huge audience in a completely different style. He carried on with the series. And even outside that, he had another U.S. Tag 1 with a rock covers album, Still the Same, in 2006.
He gets into the UK Music Hall of Fame in 2006, too. Still a major presence.
Yeah, performs The Party at the Palace for the Queen's Jubilee, Concert for Diana, Royal Variety shows. He does Soul Book in 2009, covering Motown and soul classics, kind of circling back to those early heroes like Sam Cooke.
2012 seems like another key year. Signs with Universal, releases that Christmas album, Merry Christmas Baby, which was huge, right?
Massive global hit, yeah. And he publishes his autobiography, Rod, the autobiography.
And the book apparently sparks something.
Yeah, he said writing it gave him the impetus, the desire to start writing his own songs again, after what he called a bit of a dark period for his songwriting.
And it worked. Time in 2013. Album of original rock songs hits #1 in the UK. Sets a record for the longest gap between UK #1 albums for an artist. That's incredible staying power.
It's remarkable. And he's kept releasing original albums since. Another Country, Blood Red Roses, The Tears of Hercules. Done collaborations too, like that album with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, You're in My Heart, which gave him his 10th UK #1 album in 2019, and that recent swing album with Jules Holland, Swing Fever.
His back catalog just got bought for around $100 million in 2024. Shows the value there. And Rolling Stone ranked him pretty high on their greatest singers list in 2023.
Number 49. Still performing, too. Played the Jeff Beck tribute shows. Confirmed for the Glastonbury Legends slot in 2025.
An amazing career. Constantly changing, crossing genres, eras. But always that voice.
Yeah, always anchored by the voice.
What about life outside music? The sources touch on health issues.
Yeah, he had thyroid cancer back in 2000. The surgery affected his voice. Apparently, he had to really relearn how to sing properly. He's done a lot of cancer charity fundraising since.
Yeah.
Then prostate cancer in 2017, but thankfully got the all clear on that.
And football's still huge for him.
Oh, yeah. Big Celtic fan, supports the Scotland team. Clarifies that while he briefly followed Man United in the 70s because of the Scottish players there, Celtic is definitely his team now. Even presented them with a trophy once.
And his most famous hobby.
Model railways.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sources go into detail. He's incredibly serious about it. Has this enormous, intricate layout in his L.A. home, HO scale, based on 1940s New York and Pennsylvania railroads. It's massive, like 23 feet by 124 feet.
Wow. And he's been on the cover of Model Railroader magazine multiple times, saying that meant more than a music mag cover.
Yeah. Tells you how much he loves it. He calls it addictive. There's a funny story about him realizing he was colorblind because of some red scenery material he kept using. Has a smaller layout in his UK place, too.
He's also into cars, isn't he? Ferrari Enzo owner. And he made the news a couple of years back for filling potholes.
Yeah. Near his Essex home.
Yeah.
So they were damaging cars, including his Ferrari, and could delay ambulances. Local council told him not to, but yeah, very hands-on approach.
The sources mentioned some other personal bits, admitting past drug use, his son Sean having some legal trouble. But on the positive side, lots of recognition for charity work and music.
CBE in 2007. Knighted in 2016, Sir Rod Stewart for services to music and charity. Fortune estimated over $200 million. Owns that big place in Essex, Durrington House. And that lovely story from 2023 about him paying for a day of MRI scans at a local hospital to help cut waiting lists.
What a life. Incredible highs, big changes, challenges, those enduring passions. From a working-class London kid with a harmonica to, well, Sir Rod, global icon model railway fanatic.
It's quite the journey.
So wrapping this up, what can you, the listener, take away from this deep dive on Rod Stewart? Maybe it's about the sheer power of having a unique voice, one that can cross genres and decades. Or maybe it's thinking about that complex dance between critical praise and huge popular success. How do you manage that?
Yeah, is it a tightrope?
Yeah.
Or can you actually have both, just maybe at different times?
Or maybe it's simpler. Just seeing how pursuing totally different passions, music, football, building tiny, intricate worlds, can make for a really full, interesting life.
Which brings us back to that critical question, doesn't it? That Rolling Stone quote. Early everyman appeal versus the later betrayal of talent.
Yeah.
How does an artist really balance what critics or early fans expect versus their own drive for commercial success or just trying new things over, 60 years?
Right. Does changing your sound or having hobbies outside music mean you've betrayed something? Or is it just evolution, the natural path of a complex person living a long, varied life?
Something to think about, maybe.
Definitely something to ponder next time you hear that iconic rasp.